Hi, my name is Josh Ward with Alpha Hosting. Today we're going to talk about the 5 questions you should never ask your web host. Question number 1. What happens if my server catches on fire? Slightly different variation of that question that I've gotten over the years is, what happens if a meteor hits the data center? Now, recovering from a catastrophic failure is a really important question to ask your web host. But asking about a server catching on fire is less important because the first response should be put the fire out. And putting the fire out is not really what you're typically asking. What you're usually asking is, can you describe your basic disaster recovery plan? What happens if the data center loses power? What happens if the hard drive in my server fails? Or how fast can you restore my website from a local backup, right? If you're being responsible with your data and you have a backup locally and you can just hand that version to your hosting company, how quickly can they have you back up and running? Or finally, if your hosting company is taking backups, do they store those backups offsite? Those are all much better questions to ask than what happens if a meteor hits the data center, which could happen, but is far more unlikely to happen than a failed hard drive. Question number 2 that you should never ask your web host, and that is, are you a reseller? Now, why is this a bad question? It's a bad question because in some shape or form, all hosting companies are reselling some part of their infrastructure, right? It may be their connectivity, it may be the actual servers and colo. It may be that they own the servers and the cages, but they're in somebody else's data center. Or maybe that they own all of it. A better question to ask is, how much of your infrastructure do you actually control or own? Because then you'll find out if they're using Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud and they're building on top of somebody else's infrastructure, or if they do in fact own the data center, what their hardware SLAs may be, how much redundant fiber they have coming into the building, all those sorts of things. Question 3 you should never ask your web hosting company, and that is, will you migrate my site for free? Now, site migrations are really important, but the thing is, most hosting companies now in 2020 provide migration services free of charge, right? We want your business. They want your business, and so they're willing to bring that site into onto their services and not charge you for it. A better question is, describe your migration process. Right? Get me from the point where I actually sign up for services until the point that I go live in a production environment on your infrastructure, right? And if they can describe that process to you, you'll be much more comfortable with how that's going to go. Just asking about free doesn't get you much information other than a very eager yes from a salesperson. Question 4 you should never ask your hosting company, and that is, what happens if I'm featured on Shark Tank, right? As an e-commerce hosting company, we get asked this question quite a bit. What if I'm on Shark Tank? What if I'm on Good Morning America? Oprah wants to promote my products or services. All very great and exciting things for your business. But a better question to ask is, what's the traffic capacity of my solution, the service that I'm hosted on, and how quickly can I increase it, right? Talk to me about scaling. So you want to know, how many users can my site handle currently? What's the maximum potential that I can increase my RAM or CPU cores, or maybe even storage to, right? What's the upper limits of the vertical scaling process? And then if you're not on a cluster, maybe ask that question. How quickly can you move me into a clustered solution so that I can start scaling horizontally in case I have a massive spike in traffic? And that may be from a television appearance, it may be from a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, it may be from just a really successful marketing campaign, right? So much better question to ask, what's my capacity? How can I increase it? And finally, question 5, you should never ask your hosting company, and that is your support team available 24/7? Because as we all know, available 24/7 means something slightly different to different people. And so what you may ask is, when I call support, can I speak with your engineers, and how much application knowledge do they have? And if you're concerned about who's available when, then say, hey, is somebody besides a tier 1 support tech going to be available at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. if I need to speak with somebody on the phone, right? You don't want to know that they have coverage 24/7, because coverage 24/7 may mean somebody's got a beeper or a cell phone next to the side of their bed, waiting for it to buzz in the middle of the night, and then they'll wake up and look at a support ticket or maybe call you back, right? That's 24/7 availability. What you want to know is what the expertise is that's available to you, especially via the phone or chat, at all hours of the day or night, right? Especially in your time zone. So it's a much better question to ask. That's all I've got for today. Those are the 5 questions you should never ask your web hosting company. If you're interested in how Alpha Hosting would answer those, please go to our website, chat with us, give us a call. We'd be happy to talk you through those items. Please like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and stay tuned for more updates from Alpha Hosting.